Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new legendary Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, Regieleki. Regieleki is a pure electric type Pokemon with the moveset of Lock On, Thunder, and your choice of Zap Cannon or Hyper Beam. Now, Regieleki is an extremely attack-weighted Pokemon, meaning this thing can output a tremendous amount of damage, but that's balanced by the fact that it's very, very glassy. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Regieleki in action in the Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, leading Como-O into Giratina. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start. I'm going to farm up, go for the Dragon Claw catch, but unfortunately my opponent shows great patience, holding on to their energy, and now they're going to be able to connect with the Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak is going to land onto the Registeel. I'm going to farm up and then fire off the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon, of course, is single resisted, but it will do some solid chip damage. My opponent is now going to send in Galarian Stunfisk, and oh my goodness, I am happy to see the Stunfisk here. Part of the goal with the Registeel save switch is going to be to bait out any potential ground types or Trevenant, so that way Regieleki in the back is not going to have to deal with it. I will commit a shield here because I do want to make sure that I can get rid of the Stunfisk. Stunfisk, definitely not a Pokemon I want alive. They're going to match shields. I'm actually going to send in Como-O as they fire off the Earthquake. Earthquake is going to connect. I wasn't quite sure if a Dragon Claw would KO. Galarian Stunfisk is very tanky, so I'm going to opt for the Close Combat. Close Combat is going to be lethal. I'm now debuffed. My opponent does not want to take the Dragon Tail damage, so they're going to be firing off a Dragon Claw. That is going to land, and now I can send back in the Registeel. I've gotten rid of the Galarian Stunfisk. I can hopefully get this Giratina as low as possible, and then we'll see what they have in the back for Regieleki. They're going to fire off another move here. They do go for the Shadow Sneak. That is not enough to KO, and I'm able to make it to a last-second Zap Cannon here. This Zap Cannon not going to be lethal, but it will get them low, and now it's all up to Regieleki. My opponent is not switching out. This gives me hope that they're weak to Electric in the back. Dragon Claw is going to land. They do not make another move. In the back, they have Shadow Wall Rain. Oh my goodness. The issue is, these Powder Snows do so much damage. Zap Cannon gets the attack drop. Regieleki makes it to the Thunder, able to withstand the fast move pressure, one-shots the Shadow Wall Rain, and that is a good game. Very neutral lead in the next match, Como-O into Dragonite. I'm just going to continue to farm here. Opponent goes for the catch onto Jellicent. I bank a Close Combat for later, and I'm going to answer with Registeel. I do, of course, have Regieleki in the back, but Regieleki, due to its extreme frailness, would not appreciate a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to send in the much bulkier Regi in Registeel. I tank the Shadow Ball, fire back with the Zap Cannon, and unfortunately, I do not get the attack drop. The good news is, however, is that Zap Cannon already put them into a very precarious health range. They go for another Shadow Ball, and I'm going to fire off another Zap Cannon here as I farm up. This will, of course, easily be enough to KO. Opponent commits a shield. They're looking to try and make a play for switch, and that's fine by me. I am not going to be shielding here. I'm just going to let this through. Opponent goes for the Surf. That does not KO. Registeel able to hang on and make it to another Zap Cannon. Registeel just will not die, winning switch advantage and shield advantage. Back in comes Dragonite. I'm going to send in Como-O because I have some nice fast move pressure here. I will expend the first of my shields, throw one more Dragon Tail, and then go for the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will be lethal if they let it through, which they do. In the back, they have Registeel, and I'm in a very good position here. I'm going to fire off the Close Combat. This will inflict massive damage, so my opponent is going to commit a shield, and then I just stay in here. I'm just going to force them to throw a move, and then up a shield. Regieleki is about to absolutely destroy Registeel. In comes Regieleki. I do have access to Zap Cannon, but I actually don't need to throw it here, because that's right, Thunder is able to two-shot an XL Registeel, which is absolutely nuts. They go for the Focus Blast. I will commit the shield. Regieleki makes it to another Thunder. That's going to be hello Registeel, goodbye Registeel, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, we've got a very neutral matchup, Como-O versus Alolan Muck. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start and look to farm up on some energy. They're going for the Acid Spray right off the bat, so I'm going to let this through, and then I'm going to be save switching into Registeel. My opponent is going to bank some energy and send in Wall Rain, so they clearly do not have a good answer to a Registeel in the back. I'm going to be firing off the Zap Cannon. That's going to connect, and I do get the early attack drop. That is incredibly nice in this matchup. My opponent goes for the Earthquake, and it doesn't even do half of Registeel's HP. That is absolutely nuts. Now I'm firing off the Focus Blast here. Focus Blast is going to get the shield as my opponent wants to try and keep switch advantage. I'm just going to let this through. I know this Earthquake after the debuff is not going to be enough to KO. Opponent looking for the farm down, but Registeel again just refusing to die in back-to-back games and winning switch advantage and shield advantage. Is my opponent going to be sending back in the Alolan Muck? Yes, they are. And now I'm going to send in Regieleki. I'll be honest, at this point, I had lost count. I was scared it was a Dark Pulse. I commit the shield, and it's just an Acid Spray. That is absolutely tragic. I'm going to fire off the Thunder here. Thunder just does massive damage onto anything it lands on. We get the final shield. In comes Como-O, and there's a Venusaur in the back. So I'm incredibly happy that I was able to win switch. Venusaur definitely in a tough spot here against Como-O. I'm firing off another Dragon Claw here. The energy I stored from earlier just absolutely cascading onto the Venusaur. Venusaur going to be firing off a Sludge Bomb here. Sludge Bomb not enough to KO. The Dragon Tail registers, and now I can go for a very fun play. I'm going to shield once, lock on, farm down the Venusaur, and then I get to Zap Cannon Alolan Muck. Regieleki gets the farm down, back in comes Alolan Muck. It's still very healthy, but that's not gonna matter. Zap Cannon KOs, and that's game over. Picking up a very nice lead in the next match, Como-O versus Shadow Swampert. Considering I have two Regis in the back, I am incredibly relieved to see the Swampert on the lead. I'm going to build up to the close combat and bait with the Dragon Claw, trying to grab an early shield, and my opponent is going to give up the shield. That's quite nice. I will respect the potential Earthquake here. Opponent does full send the Earthquake, and now I can massively overfarm here. Opponent just goes for a Hydro Cannon, and you know what? I don't have to shield this, and I'm going to look and try and go for the farm down here. Como-O looking for the farm down, but the Swampert on 1 HP, able to hang on. The Hydro KOs, and I lose so much energy. That is bad, but this is worse as there's a Trevenant waiting for me in the back. I do have an energy lead on the Registeel there, and I'm going to be firing off the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon, of course, is resisted, but I do get an early attack drop, and I'm going to need all the help I can get to try and get rid of this Trevenant. Shadow Ball is going to connect. Farming up, going for another Zap Cannon. I do lose CMP to the Trevenant here. Trevenant going for another Shadow Ball. That is going to get me quite low. The question is, are they going to be able to farm me down after? We get another debuff, looking to try and make it to a Focus Blast. Opponent sends in Charizard, and I respond with Regieleki. Charizard does have enough for the Blast Burn here. This would easily KO. I commit the shield. It's the Blast Burn. That's a big shield. I'm farming up and firing off the Thunder. This will 100% one-shot them, so we do see a shield. It's going to be a race. Regieleki winning CMP over Charizard, denying the Blast Burn. Thunder one-shots the Charizard. Back in comes Trevenant. Trevenant very low on HP here. This is going to be a battle of fast moves. Shadow Ball KOs. Lock on. Cannot get the KO. Picking up a pretty nice lead in the next match, Como-O versus Trevenant. I'm definitely staying in this lead as my backline does not appreciate battling the tree whatsoever. This is enough for the Shadow Ball here. I will commit the shield and I get baited with the Seed Bomb. Not what I was hoping to see. I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw here. I'm actually going to go for Dragon Claw number 2 as soon as I get it. I will throw on alignment, but I'm anticipating that my opponent is going to try and throw on proper timing. So this way I'm able to get the Dragon Claw before they make it to the Shadow Ball, and that way I'm able to get the second shield. And now with a shield advantage, I'm more than happy to let Como-O go, and now I'm just going to send in Registeel. Registeel farming up. Opponent is going to be firing off the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball will do quite a bit of damage. I can't lock on down, so I'm just going to go for the double resistant Focus Blast. It's slightly cheaper than Zap Cannon, and it is going to be enough to KO. Opponent is going to send in Wall Rain. Oh my goodness. It looks like whatever they have is weak to the Regis in the back. Zap Cannon, big damage, no defense drop. That is a bit unfortunate. They're going to be firing off the Earthquake here. I'm no shielding. I'm saving the shield for Regieleki. In the back, we have a battle of Regis, Regieleki versus Regirock. I'm going to strike first, firing off the Thunder. Thunder should two-shot this thing, and it looks like it will. The slightly uncomfortable thing is that Stone Edge is a cheaper move than Thunder. So as you're going to see here, I should get ever so slightly outpaced to the Stone Edge. Can Regieleki tank a Stone Edge? Not well. I'm very low. I'm now going to farm up as much as I dare, farming up to 100 energy and firing off the Thunder. Can I survive the Powder Snows from the wall rain? Yes, I can. Regieleki, with a sliver of HP, deals the killing blow and gets the win. We see a familiar lead in the next match, Como-O versus Giratina. As before, I'm going to try and go for the Dragon Claw catch onto my Registeel, but unfortunately, no luck this time. My opponent is going to be firing off the Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak doesn't do a lot of damage, but over time, they do outpace me, so they're going to be able to reach a lot of Shadow Sneaks here. Shadow Sneak is going to land. I'm going to return fire here, going for the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon, of course, is single resisted, and I get the attack drop. That is very, very nice. Now, I'm in a position where I should be able to force either switch advantage or shield advantage, because if you get an early debuff, Registeel can absolutely flip this. I'm firing off another Zap Cannon here. This is not going to be lethal, but it will get the Giratina low, and we get another attack drop. RNG definitely in our favor in this match. They go for the Shadow Sneak. That just does absolutely no damage. I'm going for the Zap Cannon. This will be lethal. Decision time for the opponent. Are they playing for switch? Yes, they are. Opponent wanting switch advantage. I'm just going to let this go. They go for the Shadow Sneak. That does not KO, and they do get the farm down. I'm hoping they're on 1 HP, but they are not, as my lock-on is not able to KO. This is very debuffed, so it's actually a move that I can tank, and I get the farm down. My opponent is going to send in Registeel, and I have shield advantage and an energy lead. Registeel is going to strike first. They go for the Focus Blast, and I will commit the shield. I'm returning fire with the Thunder here. Thunder is going to hit for a lot of damage as it gets them below half health. I'm going to farm up till just shy of the Focus Blast and go for another Thunder, hoping this is going to be enough to KO. Thunder onto the Registeel, barely does not KO, so I switch and catch onto Como-O. It is the Focus Blast in the back. Oh no, they have Cresselia, and that catch has actually just lost me this game. The reason being, Cresselia can fully farm down, and they're just going to have too much energy for my Regieleki to be able to handle. I can fire off the Dragon Claw, but it's just too little too late. There's nothing I can do to prevent Cresselia from farming all the way down, leaving with well over 2 moves. And at this point, I know I have to tank 1, so I let it go. Moonblast does way too much damage, and Cresselia farms down. Hopping into the final match, leading Como-O into Cobalion. Pretty decent matchup for Como-O, but that is definitely dependent on me being able to land a close combat. My opponent is going to be firing off a Sacred Sword. I'm going to tank this and look to farm up. My opponent actually running close combat on the Cobalion, and then they're going to send in Lugia. I'm able to match the Lugia with my Registeel, and this is just a dominant position for Registeel to be in. Zap Cannon is able to connect, and I do get the attack drop as well. I'm going to let this through. I tank whatever they throw. It's the Aeroblast, and that just does absolutely nothing to Registeel. This is a very uncomfortable health range for me to try and lock on down, so I'm actually going to go for the double resisted Focus Blast, heavily undercharge it, and this should put it into a perfect range where I can lock on farm down and leave with a charge move loaded to threaten Cobalion. They do make the Aeroblast, but I'm able to tank that no problem. My opponent sends back in Cobalion, and I'm going straight for the Focus Blast here, looking for some damage. Focus Blast, able to land, switch back into Como-O, and I'm firing off this Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to KO in the back. My opponent is running a regular Mewtwo, and this is honestly quite scary. I'm going for the close combat here because I want to try and minimize their farm, because that way I can lower my defense. And now I'm in a bit of an awkward spot here. I'm going to send in my Registeel and basically just hope that they throw energy. My opponent is going to throw energy. I'm just going to let this go and trust in Regieleki. Psystrike is undercharged. Opponent looking for the farm down, and we're able to make it to the Focus Blast. Focus Blast gets the shield, aggressive switch into Regieleki, and now with a 2-0 shield advantage, Regieleki will be able to survive the onslaught of charge moves from the Mewtwo. This is a legacy Hyper Beam Mewtwo as well. So some spice from the Discord members. Regieleki gets the KO and the win. And now some final thoughts on Regieleki and its viability in Pokemon Go Battle League. First off, the good. This Pokemon outputs a tremendous amount of damage. It has nuke charge moves. With Lock On, it can charge energy very quickly, and due to its insane attack stat, unless the opposing Pokemon has a resistance to electric, it is not going to have a good time tanking a move from Regieleki. However, this is balanced by the fact that this Pokemon is insanely glassy. It can basically tank no hits. So it's basically the absolute picture-perfect definition of a glass cannon. All in all, I would definitely say this is more of a spice pick or a pick for fun than for climbing, mainly due to the fact that it is extremely glassy, but man, this can be a very fun Pokemon to run. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible, so thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.